alongside a kind of finding the courage to break from the fundamentalist structures, had you had a sense of the presence of, or the experience of God or the divine that you lost? Had you never really had one? Did it change?
Yes.
How do you narrate that very difficult thing that you can't capture in words?
Well, that's part of it. That's part of why I'm trying to use this somewhat nebulous but suggestive phrase, taste, for the transcendent. So taste connotes both something sensual but also something aesthetic, right? And so I remember at first God was still present to me, but like in the way your enemy is present to you. I took up a sort of violent atheism, not physically violent, but like I wanted to kill God. And then and then I got into philosophy, and I started to understand that is just as binding to something, that negation is not, right? A lack of
freedom.
Yeah, it's not freedom. And so this was also aligned with some therapeutic work, so philosophy and therapy, and I was also starting practices like Tai Chi Chuan and stuff. All of these things were happening together within me. But I do remember, right, once the anger was subsiding, and there was more of this, as people use the phrase, letting go. I remember walking across a field. I think it was in McMaster University. I think it was in my first year of university, maybe second, and just what it felt like for that background but pervasive sense of the presence of God to dissolve away. Just dissolve away. And that was one of the first glimmering moments which became more and more prominent and coherent to me of there was a sacredness, that connectedness that reciprocally opened to me, that gave me a meaning in life that I don't want to live without, and I don't think I should live without. And so, yes, there was definitely that. So that's what I was trying to convey with it. Left this taste in my mouth, and also the sense of taste that makes you explore, makes you hunger, make you long. And that had to be. I did a lot of foolish things because that has to slowly be pared away from the ways in which that fundamentalist framework had been ingrained into me, right? Deep, profound habit, right? And is it just, and there was times I wondered, am I seeking this just because of a habit? But what happened is I started to try and answer this question for myself, and started to pursue Asian philosophies, Taoism, Buddhism, some a bit of Vedanta, but mostly Taoism and Buddhism, not just in thought, but in deep practice. I started to bring that into cognitive science, and I started to I was the first person at the University of Toronto to, academically in a scientific setting, talk about mindfulness. And when I started to do this, I noticed my students' eyes were lighting up, and I started to realize, there is something here that's not just due to my idiosyncratic habit formation. There's something more shareable and shared. There's a shared need. And these people most of them did, maybe all of them did not have my particular background. And so that opened me up to that, how to discern the difference between this is an old habit from this is a real need.